lost in the wilderness. My name is Anna, and I want to share a story about a day that changed my life forever. It was a warm, sunny day in July, and my friends and I were full of excitement. We had decided to go on a hiking trip to the Rocky Mountains in Canada. The group included me, Tom, Lily, and Mark. We had all been looking forward to this trip for weeks. We woke up early that morning, packed our bags, and drove to the starting point of the hike. The mountains looked stunning in the morning light, with the peaks covered in a soft mist. We could hear the birds singing, and the fresh smell of pine trees filled the air. We felt ready for an adventure. We had packed everything we thought we needed: some snacks, bottles of water, a first aid kit, a flashlight, and a GPS device. Tom, who was the tallest and the most adventurous among us, had brought the GPS. He seemed confident, smiling and saying, "Don't worry, guys. I know how to handle this." We started our hike at 8 a.m. The first few hours were wonderful. The trail was clear, the weather was perfect, and we could hear the sounds of nature around us. We laughed and talked about our plans, our dreams, and all the places we wanted to visit one day. Tom led the way, holding the GPS. Mark and Lily followed, and I was at the back, enjoying the view of the mountains. As we walked deeper into the forest, we could feel the temperature getting cooler. The trees became taller and denser, and the path became a little harder to follow. But we did not worry. We were too excited to care. At around 10 a.m., we decided to take a break. We sat down on a large rock, drank some water, and ate a few snacks. We took pictures, laughed, and enjoyed the moment. After resting for a while, we started walking again. But soon we noticed something was wrong. The trail was becoming narrower, and we could no longer see the signs that marked the path. The trees seemed to close in on us, and the sunlight was dimmer. Tom looked at the GPS, frowning. "It's weird," he said. "The GPS is acting up. It's not showing the way." We all stopped, feeling a bit uneasy. Lily asked, "What do you mean it's not showing the way?" Tom shook the device and pressed some buttons, but the screen remained blank. We began to worry. Mark suggested maybe we should turn back and try to find the main trail. We agreed and turned around, trying to retrace our steps. But everything looked the same: the tall trees, the thick bushes, the rocks. We walked for another hour, but it seemed like we were only getting deeper into the forest. By now, we were all feeling nervous. The sun was getting higher, and the forest felt different, almost like it was closing in on us. I could see the worry in Lily's eyes. "What if we don't find our way back?" she whispered. I tried to stay calm and said, "We need to keep going. If we panic, it will only make things worse." But inside, I was scared too. We walked and walked, but there was no sign of the main trail. We decided to stop and think about what to do next. Tom looked at us and said, "We need to stay calm. We still have some water and snacks, but we need to save them, Mark added, and we must stay together. If we split up, it will be harder to find our way. We agreed. Tom tried to get the GPS to work again, but it was completely dead. I guess we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way, he said, trying to sound cheerful. We decided to look for any signs that could help us: a river, a stream, or maybe even a road. After some time, we heard a faint sound of running water. It was very quiet at first, but as we listened carefully, we realized it was a stream. Let's follow that sound, Mark suggested. Rivers usually lead to people. So we began walking toward the sound of water, hoping it would guide us. The walk was hard. The ground was uneven, and there were many rocks and fallen branches in our way. We had to be careful with each step. At times I stumbled, but Tom was always there to help me up. Stay close, he kept saying. We'll get out of this together. After a while, we finally reached a small stream. We were so relieved to see the water. We drank from the stream, refilled our bottles, and took a short rest. The cold water felt good on our tired faces. This is a good sign, Tom said. If we follow the stream, it might lead us to a river, and rivers often lead to towns or roads. We decided to keep following the stream. It was not easy. We had to walk through thick bushes and climb over rocks. Sometimes the stream would disappear underground, and we had to find it again. But we kept going, not losing hope. Hours passed, and we were getting tired. The sun was starting to set, and we knew we had to find a place to rest for the night. We found a small clearing near the stream and decided to make camp there. We gathered some dry wood and made a small fire. The fire gave us warmth and a sense of safety. We sat close to each other, feeling scared but also a little brave. We tried to keep our spirits up by talking about happy memories. Mark shared a funny story from school, and we all laughed. But deep down, we were all worried. What if we don't find our way back? Lily asked. Her voice was shaky. We will, I said. We just have to stay strong and trust each other. That night was long and cold. The forest was full of strange sounds. We could hear animals moving around, and sometimes we heard noises that made our hearts race. We took turns keeping watch, making sure the fire did not go out. When it was my turn, I sat close to the fire, feeling the warmth on my face and listening to the sounds of the forest. I tried to stay awake, but my eyes kept closing. When morning came, we were tired and hungry, but we were ready to keep going. We ate some of the last snacks we had and drank water from the stream. Then we started walking again, following the stream. As we walked, we saw footprints. They were not ours. Look, Tom said, these must be from other hikers. Maybe we're close to a trail. This gave us hope. We followed the footprints, moving faster now. After about an hour, we saw a wooden bridge. We cheered. We found it, Lily shouted with joy. We crossed the bridge, our hearts full of hope. But we were not safe yet. We kept walking, hoping to find a road or a sign. Finally, after what felt like forever, we heard the sound of cars. It was faint at first, but it got louder as we moved closer. We ran toward the sound, and soon we saw a road. We waved at the first car we saw, and it stopped. The driver, a kind-looking woman, asked if we needed help. We told her our story. She looked concerned and offered to take us back to the nearest town. We climbed into her car, grateful for her kindness. On the drive back, we felt a mix of relief and exhaustion. The woman, whose name was Sarah, listened to our story with wide eyes. "You kids are lucky," she said. "These mountains can be dangerous, especially if you're not prepared." We nodded, realizing just how true her words were. When we reached the town, we were welcomed with open arms by the locals. They were happy to see us safe and sound. They gave us food and water, and even called our families to let them know we were okay. Our parents were worried sick, but they were just glad to hear we were safe. Later, as we sat together in a small cafe, sipping hot chocolate, we talked about everything we had been through. "We could have been lost forever," Mark said, looking serious. "But we weren't," I replied, "because we had each other." Tom smiled. "This was a tough experience, but it taught us a lot. We learned how to work as a team, how to stay calm in a crisis, and most importantly, how to never give up hope." Lily nodded, and I realized how much I value our friendship. No matter how scary things got, I knew I could trust you all. We decided to make a promise. Let's promise to always stay friends and to always have each other's backs, no matter what Tom said. We all agreed and put our hands together in the center of the table. That night, as we drove back to our homes, I couldn't help but think about the adventure we had just been through. It had started as a fun hike, but it turned into a real test of courage, friendship, and survival. The next day, we met again to return the hiking gear and talk about our plans for the future. Tom joked, "Maybe next time we'll bring a better GPS and a map." We all laughed, but we knew we would always remember this experience. Looking back now, I realize how important that day was. It taught us about the power of trust, the strength of friendship, and the value of never giving up, even when things seem impossible. This adventure brought us closer than ever before, and I know that no matter what happens in life, I will always have my friends by my side. We may have been lost in the wilderness, but we found something even more valuable: the true meaning of friendship. And that, I believe, is a story worth telling. The voiceover in this video is provided by English Gum. Copying or re-uploading is strictly prohibited.